What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's season 2,
round 15
of Track Talkers. Thank you guys so much for listening. We want to hook you guys up. So you know what we're going to do?
giveaway.
Yes, we're going to do a giveaway. SKDA, we're going to get you guys hooked up with a free set of graphics. We need people to the channel. We need people to the Instagram. So all you got to do is on our most recent post, tag 3 of your friends and say, dang, my bike needs some new graphics. Make sure you tag SKDA. Yes, that's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
And tag SKDA. 3 friends, dang, my bike needs new graphics, tag SKDA. That's it.
And then how are we going to contact them?
Through Instagram.
Through Instagram,
or
direct
YouTube.
message.
We'll find you.
Yeah, we'll find you.
Either way, we'll make sure we find you. This week, get you hooked up with a brand new set of graphics.
And we're going to say
SKDA.
your guys' name next week on our podcast.
Oh, there you go. We'll call out the winner. I love that. Let's jump right into this thing. The battle this weekend, in the words of Ricky Carmichael, treacherous. Definitely one for the books. Coop and Chase. Wow. Talk about putting on a display of just absolute grit and speed from both these guys. You know, obviously there has to be a winner, and that was Cooper Webb this weekend, but I really feel like Chase put up a great fight, didn't really make that big mistake that we've seen before. Definitely has a level of maturity, but boys, at the end of the day, he didn't get it done.
No, he did not get it done. Cooper Webb got it done and got the win and extended his points lead to now to 12 points with 2 rounds left. And as how intense the 450 main event was, there's not really anything that happened between first and second. Like it was just a heavy emotional, mental battle because you knew what was on the line. Like I would have loved to see this Chase like get out in front of Cooper and seeing what that would have done to Cooper Webb just to put him in that state of like having to retaliate, or because you know Cooper Webb would have retaliated and kind of pushed back pretty heavy.
Yes. I'm
like
saying
heavy.
Coop would have teed him up, like rubbed plastics. Like if
way more than what Chase did to Cooper.
Yes. If Chase would have made that move, next turn, Cooper Webb was rubbing plastics with him.
Yes.
I can almost guarantee.
I could see it where like Cooper Webb puts his bike in front of Chase on that elevated corner.
Yep.
The what would be 3
Similar
corners?
To what Tom did.
Yeah, 3 corners in front of the finish or whatever. Like just put his bike right in front of you and just be like, nope, I'm making the pass. I don't care if we're slowing down. I don't care about the flow of the race right now. I'm getting my bike in front of you.
Yes.
And that's what I wish Chase would have done in those close moments that he was with Cooper.
Just anything.
Anything. And I know, like, I got to give props to Chase, like, taking his time in the beginning and finding his flow. And I thought he was very patient in the beginning. I thought he was going to step it up like he did in outdoor. He was kind of like handling Cooper Webb like he did at Hunter Lawrence in the outdoors. Like, oh, I'm just going to figure this out. I'm going to figure the track out. And I'm going to start picking it up a lap after lap after lap. And he did that. But then he went to that jump line, made that major mistake, then kind of got back into it, but then couldn't find that same dominant flow or that little bit more speed than Cooper Webb and just didn't get it done.
Yeah, I think what my observation of it was pretty close to yours. It seemed like Chase had more speed and he still caught him after he started jumping the whoops.
Yeah.
But I just think that he had to push that little bit harder in other places where he was probably catching him 0.2 of a second, 0.1 of a second by skipping the whoops. So he didn't have to push as hard on the other parts of the track. So as soon as he started jumping the whoops, he was making up time still, but he was having to push on other parts of the track that just couldn't handle it. And I think that's where those little mistakes were coming from.
And that just reminded me of like what I was thinking about watching the race on TV and what it looked like. And I knew it was going to be really hard for Chase to move past Cooper Webb because Chase, what he did, he was just going faster in Cooper Webb's line.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He was just pushing
doing
a little
Cooper Webb shit better.
Yeah, he was doing Cooper Webb's line just a little bit better, and that's going to be an easy place for Chase. But then it seemed like when he did move out of that line, like he would take a different line on the split lane or take a little line here or there, he would lose time, and then he would have to funnel back into Cooper Webb's line. So like when you're in that state in that race, it's going to be super hard to get past that guy that you're riding that line in. You know, unless you're doing something way out of the lines or way out, aggressively where you're putting your bike in front and chopping down on that front end and doing some gnarly shit. But Chase needs to figure out when you're racing a competitor like Cooper Webb, you're going to have to do that shit time to time.
Yeah, like in my eyes, it's very similar to what you're saying. Like Cooper Webb Chase Sexton almost like before the finish had to cut him off so hard that they both had to roll the finish line. Like sometimes you got to just do that. It's almost like the way I would think about it is like hitting a timeout in basketball. You got to stop the dude's rhythm somehow, even if it stops your rhythm too. Like just break his focus so he can't keep doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. When you let Cooper Webb get out front and he's just doing the same thing over and over, and he finds that rhythm and you don't break it, what do you expect Cooper to do? He's just going to put in these mathematical bot laps where he just does it over and over and over and over again perfect.
Yeah, but he also did, like props to Cooper Webb, he was getting better and better throughout every lap too.
Well, yeah, when you don't break somebody's rhythm, you can get that 1% better. Oh, I need to gas it a little bit more coming in here. I need to hit the brakes a little bit softer here, gas it here. I'm going to go a little farther on the off to get the next off a little better. I mean, it just adds up when you can find that rhythm and you can make those 1% changes, right?
Yeah, I mean, he got it done.
Anton, what's your thoughts on the whole situation from an outside perspective?
I mean, I thought it was a great day, again, from start to finish, because it was the perfect follow-up to last week's blow for blow, starting in practice, having the head games, having Coop going out and trying to knock out a lot of fast laps in time qualifying, where Chase really didn't get the chance to. He missed the chance to do a couple fast ones, and setting that tone early in the day. We all kind of were curious as how the track was going to turn out with the rain that came. Yeah, it was a Cooper Webb track. A lot of punchy little things, good flow, good traction, hard in some spots, soft in others. Both guys really had their things that they could do, but just looking at it, and even with the odd stuff, the elevated corners, the switchbacks, for a guy like Cooper just to shorten the track, that played into his favor. But then to get into the main event, because that's all that really matters, is the start. Dude, Coop and Chase are going at it down the start straightaway. They were a couple bikes difference from each other on gate pick. But Coop started going left. He tucked inside tight on the first turn, made the move on Chase that he needed to, and that was it. That was the blow. And Chase said that in the press conference. I can't let him get the start that he gets because I can't make that pass. He's a hard guy to pass. Yeah. And tie into what you had said, Chase was in Cooper's line. And when he made the mistake in the whoops, he had said in the press conference too, right as he messed up and was getting ready to have the moment, Coop roosted him. So much in close proximity to each other, trying to do the same move, trying to make the same thing work. So much so that when the guy gets on the throttle, you got a face full of, Dunlop rear roost, and then that's it. And then you're off the track. And then you have to come back from it. But why I asked the question that I asked in the press conference was because in those first 5 minutes, my heart rate had to be at 160. Because I'm just here we go again. I love it. I love it.
It's what we all asked for.
When Chase made the mistake, it's what we all, and dude, does it get any better? 2-3 races to go. We know the situation that's got to happen. The guys find it again. There's no one near them. They're clearly better than everyone. You don't got to come through traffic, anything. It was just perfect. But then to then have 20 minutes of, like you said, not thrilling racing, but if you know what you're watching, that was exciting because you got to watch each guy hit his strengths and then also overcome his weaknesses and then reel in the other guy, hold off the other guy, make something work, find out something that doesn't work, move around on the track, get through lappers. I mean, that was both guys at their best.
Yeah, it really was.
Like I said, After Chase made that mistake and the gap blew up, I was like, all right. In Cooper's head, is he now thinking like, got it, this is mine now? You're back there. I just ended your championship chase. I got 2 more to go. Mathematically, this thing's sealed. I even have the race win.
Yeah.
Was Chase thinking like, oh no, it's gone. I have to ride so hard. Did everything that I just do. If he gets this one win, mathematically, it's a lot more difficult, whatever. Does Chase back off and then have to take it? And to see that neither guy settled, like I knew that they weren't going to settle, but you have to have that split second thought. Like, do I coast now? Did I just accomplish the job or did I just lose my championship? They had that thought for a lap. And then to regroup and then get back into it for 15 minutes and go to the wire like they did was great. Was just great. And then also, Chase kicked ass last week. Chase showed everyone how he is the fastest guy in the world on any given night. For Coop to fire back the way that he did and just be like, all right, dude, shoot, you might have balls out speed, but I can outrace you. You might be faster, but there's more to racing than speed. Watch this. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, it definitely was cool. And I really think that if Chase would have got the whole shot, he would have won that race. It was
100%.
Cooper knew that he had to get out front, and he did exactly what he needed to do. And then on top of that, he navigated the lappers just absolutely phenomenally. I mean, dude, when he was coming through the lappers, he just rode so well. He was so ahead of what was happening. It was unbelievable. And, Chase got hooked up with a couple lappers, and it definitely cost him, but that's part of the deal. Because Coop had to go through the lappers first, which is always harder.
Always a little bit harder.
It's always harder. And to what you said, Anton, man, there wasn't that much action back and forth. But wow, when I was on the floor watching that, I just knew from my experience the battle that was going on mentally and just the racer on racer just mono that we got to watch was truly unbelievable. It obviously different level, but dude, it reminded me of the days out on the practice track with me and you, where it's like we weren't next to each other, but we were across the track, and you're just every lap you're trying to find that 1 millisecond where you can get better, and then you do, and you look over and fucking Ty got 1 millisecond better too.
Yeah.
And you're just everybody's figuring out the track at the exact same time and getting better at the same time. And you make a mistake, and then the other guy makes a mistake because they're both pushing so hard, and those guys were at their limit. It was a huge blow to the championship, obviously. But wow, definitely, if you guys get a chance to watch the mental battle and just watch that again and think of it from a perspective of like, what was Cooper Webb thinking? How was he analyzing the track? What was going on in his head? What was going on in Chase's head? Because you're totally right, Ty. Chase took a completely different mental, like for the lack of a better word, but had a whole different mental plan this week. You could tell he was so calm and was like, I'm going to let this come to me. I'm not going to override the bike. I'm just going to kind of put my laps in. I'm going to figure out what he's doing ahead of me, figure out how I can do that better. And then I'm going to methodically plan that chance out to pass. And it just seemed right when he was planning that little spot to pass, something would happen where it would hold him back.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, to go further on one point, sorry to cut you off, Ty, but everything you said about Cooper and Chase, you got to multiply that by everybody down in the team too, because to watch in the pit area, in the work area, like I have in the last couple of weeks, like I make it a point to go stand near there.
Yeah.
To watch Peanut, watch Alex Campbell and then watch Jay Dungy do what they do. So, because those dudes are locked in. Like if you watch my course heading raw videos, I make sure to put them in there and make sure that you see how they get their pit board out, how they show how to get attention of the lappers. My guys coming through, you need to watch what they put on just all of that stuff, because the mental stuff that they have to go through is also crazy. And then you hear the radio stuff that they're getting signaled down to them, lap times, this guy's doing this rhythm, what they're watching, the pressure that everybody is feeling right now, and you're seeing the best in all of them come out. And then after the race was over last night, and this happens all the time, it's not a special thing, but it's just the nod of respect amongst everybody. Rich Sterling, or not Rich Sterling, that's KTM mechanic, sorry. Rich Simmons, who's the new team manager at Star, went over, 450 at Star, went over, said congratulations to Chase, said congratulations to Ian Harrison, talked to Jade. And there's a lot of money that was on the line for everybody last night. That is also something that was talked about. Oh my God, would make it even more interesting. But just the dynamic of everybody that just had that going on. And then Coop goes, pops the champagne bottle over with the crowd. Chase had his own little personal celebration because he's not psyched that he lost that race, but he's got to pop the cork. It is awesome to see. Adam, you and I are so lucky that we get to see that up close. And I'm sure some of your VIPs get to see some of that stuff up close too. To see that stuff on the floor, if you, again, really know what you're looking at, it's incredible. It is incredible to know, and it makes you have so much more appreciation for every single thing that happens on the track.
Yeah, but what we got to understand too is the last couple, not last year's champion, but the year before when Chase won the championship, it was in Denver that Eli Tomac tore, his Achilles tendon fucking 3 laps into that main event or whatever it was, and then now it was Chase. We're only talking about, yes, as much as we think it's sealed because the field's light on Cooper Webb's end. Bro, if Cooper Webb finishes out of the top 2 or finishes 4th or 5th, this fucker's, down to 6 points coming into,
Yeah, and I think
the last round. And that's super gnarly.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because Chase seemed extra relaxed when he left that press conference. And I really, truly believe, and Coop mentioned that, dude, I still got to get second, and second is not easy to do.
Yeah, the only other teammate that
look at what Justin Cooper did to freaking both those guys in the heat.
Well, that's what I told my wife when I was watching the race, was that the problem with Justin Cooper, I think, plays more into Cooper Webb's favor than anything, because that's the only one that can actually, I think, is the only rider right now that is fast enough to split,
AP
him and
could
Chase.
do it. AP could do it if he rode good and had a great night. I think he's
yeah, but AP would be fucking his boy, fucking his homeboy. Pause, sorry, but J Coop, that's his job, is to go out there and be the wedge breaker.
Yes.
AP just re-upped to KTM. You think he's going to let them lose the championship? This is where business and friendships, the line gets blurred.
No, but
I know what you're saying. On balls out speed, AP is the one with the speed to get in the way of them. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Justin Cooper could get between Cooper Webb and Chase, but I think AP could possibly get in between Chase and Cooper Webb.
Yeah.
If Webb had to come from the back and AP got the whole shot and it was AP and Chase out front and Webb had to come through, there's a possibility of that happen.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is Kenny and Chase are BFFs, and Kenny looks like his foot has gotten a lot better in the last couple of rounds. And his shoulder. So coming in these last 2, you better believe if Kenny can get between Webb and Chase, that's going to happen. He's going to try to do everything he can to make sure that
these hard pack tracks, these last 2 hard pack tracks are going to help out Kenny huge.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's just back home in Germany at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
He's on the practice track behind the house.
And Cooper Webb and Justin Cooper are going to be a little click off because hopefully these next 2 rounds are not jumpers.
Yes.
Can we talk about Justin Cooper for a second and that 2, 3, 4 line he was doing in the heat race?
Dude.
That was some, I got to give it up to Justin Cooper. That was one hell of a jump whoop line.
Dude, and you know what that's from? He can't skip the whoops. I watched him.
Mm-hmm.
He was in practice. He tried to skip the whoops a couple times.
Yeah.
He skimmed them and put the brakes on and came to a complete stop, and Cole Nichols teed him up in the middle of the whoop section.
For real?
Because he tried to skip and he was just so swapped out. But that, to me, that 2, 3, 4, Justin Cooper is the only guy who could do it, because he has to be so committed to the jump line. he's getting better and better and better at jumping the whoops.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing that, dude.
No. And
they were having a hard time tripling.
Dude, isn't it so funny? Like, I think that's what a lot of people very underestimate. Like, jumping the whoops is kind of in, like, when you look at it, it might seem like an easier, consistent option, but to make it a easier, consistent option, like, you have to do it, like, a lot and develop through the whoops, because you saw Chase, like, go from skipping to jumping, and, like, those first 3 or 4 times, like, it's like the weirdest rhythm section you have to learn.
Yeah, because
on the spot.
Because they're little, so your whole bike don't even
and
fit.
They're chucked out.
And then they have a double.
They have not perfect transitions.
Yeah, they have
I can explain this.
Okay,
yes.
go. I'm sorry. Go.
They have a double lip from the chuck hold, and it's just like skipping whoops. You have to find the right jump line left to right, because there's only a certain amount of, where those whoops are filled in from the roost, where they're actually arced, where you can jump and have enough speed to triple. Because just like you've seen it, where Chase messed up, got cross-threaded into a little wheel spin and just cased the fuck out of that first one, that first triple, and then messed up your whole entire rhythm section.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's like jumping whoops is a skill in itself.
Yeah.
But at least Chase knows how to do both. And Justin Cooper, if he wants to be a Supercross championship or Supercross champion, he needs to be a better whoop skipper. He doesn't need to be great, but he needs to be better than what he's at right now.
Dude, I know how tough it is, and I'm glad I'm on the sideline able to sip some Twisted Tea. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, dude, difficult. Well, do you guys have anything else to say about that 450 battle? Or are we moving on?
No, we're good.
All right. How about you, Mike? You got anything else?
No, I'm good. I just can't wait to see the next one.
Okay. Dirt, yeah, straight up. Denver's going to be awesome. Dirt tricks. Let's talk about the 250 points. We have to talk about this East Coast battle.
Oh, the East Coast battle. Yes.
Let's break down this main event. Tom Vial. Okay. Welcome back. Welcome to we're not trying to ride the track or ride the bike, and now we're just racing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like we're seeing Tom Vial and Austin Faulkner go from, like, how do I get comfortable to now I don't really care about comfort. I'm trying to go fast. Right? Like, dude, Tom Vial
what do you mean? What do you mean
loose.
about your Austin Faulkner? Why'd you put Austin Faulkner in that analogy?
Because both of those guys, to me, seemed like they started out so tight and fighting the track, fighting their bike, whatever it is. They just didn't seem like they were loose on the track. And, dude, like Austin Faulkner, when I'm watching him ride now, he's making some little crashes and stuff, like Tom Vial. But, dude, he's so loose on the bike now. And Tom Vial, to me, I don't know if it was the big wad up that Tom Vial needed. Like, is that what he needed to just throw caution to the wind?
Because he wadded up heavy in Tampa Bay over the bars in the whoop section. I think that made him very timid to start off the season.
Dude, well, whatever he did, he needs to keep doing what he did this weekend, because that was the Tom Vial that I remembered from season prior. I mean, he just looked like he could ride wherever. He was racing the track.
Can you correct me if I'm wrong?
Yes.
Because I feel like in my head, I'm like such a Tom Vial hater, and I don't know why. But for some reason, I feel like this win, like he was just like, he didn't like get it because he was the fastest. He just got it because he hung on to it.
Well, we know Seth Hamaker's the fastest. So Tom Vial rode really good, though. Like, when I was watching Tom Vial, he was really, really fast. Like, he was going to put up a fight with Seth Hamaker this weekend. Prior weeks, no. Tom Vial is not even close. Speed-wise,
that's what I'm saying.
Not
like,
even there.
Not
this
even close.
weekend, that's why I'm talking about this. This weekend, Tom Vial had something that he hasn't had. What do you think, Anton? Like, what's your take on this?
Through the last month, like watching it, because I did an interview, again, Richard Sterling, now getting the name correct. I did an interview with him at Boston about just, hey, having the #1 plate and how you approach everything. Because it looked at that point like Tom was on easy street to get that championship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And to see how quickly everything had changed since then. And then kind of the wheels coming off of Tom's season in the last month. You know, the Foxborough thing, whatever. Again, I still can't get an answer on what happened in the mud. You know, why he went from what position he was in to 22nd and all of that. I saw the bike go flying into the manager's tower and everything, but then silly to go the way that it did. East Rutherford wasn't great.
Yeah.
Dude, it was looking bad.
I just can't
he
believe
turned
he's
that
where
around.
he's at.
Yeah, you know, because like at one point, if you take out, like he said in the press conference, if you take out a DNF essentially at Foxborough, a whole different championship scenario right now. He's 20 something up and nobody's even thinking about anything, regardless of what other results he did, trying to dig himself out of a hole, riding with that pressure on him. But I thought that it was just so interesting to see him work it, you know, work Max Vohland, like really, really latch on him, knew the passes that he needed to make, like, I got to go forward. Because even as he was getting through traffic, he was making sure that if he got near you, it was a definite finite pass. You're done. I'm gone. I'm going to the next guy. Like some of the moves that he was doing there to catch up to Thrasher was good. And then to see it come down to those last few laps, I mean, that was clutch. That was clutch. You know, we know all these things about Tom, 3-time champion, consistent, this, and this, but have we seen him do something like that a lot of different times? There's only a few that I can think of, you know, but that one was when it was needed the most. In that interview that I did, Richard had said, when his back's against the wall, he can really do it. Like we've seen it. You know, we didn't really know that he had a championship in him last year, but then when he got put into the situation, he rose to the occasion and did it. So we know that he can do it again. And damn it, he's doing it again. So good for him.
Yeah. Big mistake on the first lap from Seth Hammaker.
Mm-hmm.
Then his goggles get hit.
Well, no, he hits his face on his bars because he's like, his front end's so swapped and he like jabbed it like this.
Yep. And then, this is per like interview swap moto Kellen, right? Or something like that?
No.
Who'd you hear that from?
No, this is my take because they had it on slow-mo on the TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw the whole thing.
Okay.
So Lance Kobush, they jump on the tabletop. Lance Kobush and Seth Hammaker kind of connect. And like, I don't even know how he fucking pulled that off. But then he rolled. And then he like rolled left. His goggles were all fucked up. He rolled right, and then he rolled back and adjusted goggles. And then Austin Faulkner almost connects with him on the way out, like in the middle of the rhythm section after he rolled the second tabletop. And I mean, finally made his way back, but
dude,
rough.
When we were in the press box,
mm-hmm.
I was sitting with Steve and Lewis and all those guys, and we're like, oh my gosh, look at Seth Hammaker. Dude, the first lap, he was so terrible. I mean, downright terrible. We're like, oh, the bike's broke. Does he have a flat? Are the wheels blown out? Like, what's going on? He's so bad that we can't figure it out. And then, like, second lap, he, like, does a triple. And we're like, is the bike good? The bike's good. Like, it was such a weird first lap for Seth Hammaker. I couldn't even believe it. It was so out of sorts. We've just seen him be out front and be gone so much that I don't think he's been put in that situation yet this season, right?
No, I don't. Not that situation.
He did come back and he got really, really lucky with RJ Hampshire.
What do you mean? He didn't pass RJ Hampshire?
I know, but RJ made that mistake where Max got him. He crashed.
Yeah, you got one position.
Yes, but that one position right now could be all the difference, right? Yes,
not really.
No? What do you mean, dude? There's one race left.
Yeah, but Seth didn't move up a position because RJ crashed.
Yeah, but he lost less points, and he has RJ. 3 points. He has 3 points on RJ.
No,
so,
he only has 2.
I wrote down that he has -3.
Yeah, -3 to Vial.
Oh, you're right.
Do you know how that works?
Oh, don't even start. Don't even start with me, bro.
I'm sorry you don't know how numbers work, but that's how that goes.
Gosh.
So they would just be, Seth and RJ would probably be within like a 1 point spread of each other, but still the same amount of points from Vial. I mean, not the same amount of points, but.
We'll read it for you guys. Tom is at 160. Hammaker is -1 from Tom. and RJ is -3 from Tom, not from Hammaker.
Yes.
So technically it is.
What do you mean technically?
It's winner take all. No, Tom Vial could beat Hammaker and RJ could be one spot ahead of Tom Vial and Tom Vial will still win.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, this is going to be such a gnarly Salt Lake City showdown.
But that would, Tom, that scenario would happen if no one was in first.
Yes. Yes. No, RJ could get first and Tom could get second and Tom would still win, technically.
Yeah. No, they would be tied.
Yep. Because that's 3.
Yes.
So who would win? Who has more wins? We'd have to look that up.
Yeah. But anyways, it's gonna be a gnarly show on the final round in the East Coast with the shootout.
Wow. Any comments on the 250 championship, Mike?
No, because I think exactly what you said, like that perfect point that you just made. That's assuming that they go 1, 2, 3. You put a couple different guys, cold 80s ahead of them, and then that's
Hayden Deegan,
the situation we're looking at anymore.
Juju,
you know what I mean?
Everything.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Seth's the only guy with multiple wins. You know, so but then in that case, who does what? Who gets the multiple win at the end there?
Yeah.
Hey boys. As you probably hear, there's a crying baby, and I also have something else I got to jump on the phone for.
Yeah,
so
no, that's perfect.
Me.
I was actually literally just gonna say thank you, and we'll talk to you soon, Mike. We appreciate you being on the show. Look forward to having you.
Thank you, boys.
Next Sunday, and look forward to seeing you in Denver.
Can't wait, boys. Thanks again for everything.
Heck yeah, you know it. Thanks, Mike.
See you, boys.
Peace. Mike just made his long drive home.
Yeah, with a little baby boy in the back seat.
Yep, gotta love it. Yeah, this is 250 East is definitely one to watch for sure. Should we move on to 250 West?
I mean, that's the only place to go, right?
Yeah. Stan Benson Racing. If you need anything in the Bakersfield area, if you need anything at the track, ETS Fuel, Pirelli Tires. Where do you go, Ty?
Stan Benson Racing in Bakersfield.
Let's go. It's tough. It's tough, right? So we got the Deegan Cole Davies battle, which is kind of a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Deegan's really got this championship pretty dialed. The only thing that we do have is we have that showdown. So we have the SLC showdown. So just to give you the lay of the land, right now, Cole Davies and Deegan is 17 points up on Cole Davies.
Yep.
So the scenario that we've come up with, which is best case scenario for Cole Davies and the championship, not best case scenario for Deegan. But if Cole Davies wins this weekend and Deegan gets second, okay, he'll get 3 points, which will put them at 14 points apart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so that means going into SLC, for Cole Davies to win the championship, going into the showdown, Cole Davies has to win with a 14-point deficit. Deegan would have to get 11th or worse. Now, 11th would technically tie them, right, for 14 points. So
yeah, but with Cole Davies winning, supposedly
if he wins the showdown and Denver,
then he would win the tiebreaker.
Yes, but he'd have to win the next 2 in a row.
Yes.
Which is really the only way he can kind of do it.
Yes.
So.
And it's very plausible because we also got Juju in there. Hopefully he's healthier with his shoulder and ready to go. And wanting to get some vengeance on Danger Boy Deegan if the opportunity is right in front of him.
I don't know, dude. I like Juju. I like Juju as a racer. I really do. And as a person, I like his personality. But dude, if you haven't retaliated by now, you ain't gonna do it.
Dude, that shit never goes away.
I know, but dude, like, what the fuck are you waiting for, bro?
Bro, he's been hurt. He doesn't like hard pack tracks. Well, no. He does like hard pack tracks. He doesn't like ruts.
Soft tracks.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll kick it up a notch. Maybe he can put himself in between those guys.
The weather is looking good. It's a high of 76 on Saturday for Denver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So hot.
Hot. with a low of 46. So that's actually really good weather in the mountains up there.
Yeah, it is, because I've been there before where I've ridden and
And
it was
snow.
raining and then it was snowing and then it went back to snowing and then it was raining and then it was snowing while we were racing.
Yeah, not fun.
Not fun at all. Another big thing going on this weekend on Friday.
We have the privateer race.
Yes, the Pulp MX privateer race. We love that he puts it on. I have actually won the Pulp MX race before.
Yeah, I got second in it when they
not the race. I actually just won
the points.
The points challenge or whatever.
Yeah, I've gotten second and maybe third the 2 times or the first 2 years they did it.
Yeah. Which is really awesome that Steve puts that on. It's going to be a 2-moto format, and then I think they do some cool like rinky-dink style things.
Yeah, if you are a sponsor, you can go and sponsor your own position or scenario that you want to do to give money to privateers.
Yes.
Because I did it last year for 95 and I gave like an extra $100 to 9th and 5th.
Yeah. And then other big news,
Kyle Chisholm's going to be racing for Jerry Robin.
Yes.
And whatever Kyle Chisholm wins in the Privateer Racing Challenge, it's going to go all to Jerry Robin to help him on his road to recovery.
Which is...
Hopefully you guys have donated to on the link that we have posted underneath our video.
Yeah, and we'll I've been posting that under all the videos, so if you can't find it, just go to a different video and find that link to his GoFundMe. Yeah, check that out. Prayers and shout out to Jerry Robin. Hopefully everything is going as good as it can be.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? All right. Acerbis, best plastics in the game, bro.
Always. They fit the best. They're just as good as OEM plastics if you want an alternative.
Yes. Pittsburgh, what do you think? What do you think from an outside perspective? Realistically, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about Pittsburgh as the venue, and we got to talk about, do we even like these outdoor stadiums, bro?
Yeah, I do.
What do you like about them? Because you're watching it from TV.
What do I like about them is that they're bigger stadiums. They're usually bigger tracks. That means like the split lane and the different obstacles, you can put more dirt in the stadium and have alternate tracks and not just the standard, 7-lane tracks that are back and forth in the standard Supercross tracks. So that's one thing I do like. And as well, I like if you're going to say it's the best championship or, it's the premier championship in the whole entire world of Supercross, you got to have some different factors in there. It can't be perfect all the time. And that's why I like about outdoor stadiums. I don't want to have 3 mud races in a series, but 1, maybe 2 every now and then. I think it's good to mix it up. And as on top of it, I thought the stadium was pretty cool, seeing the yellow seats and like the whole view of the river and everything. I thought that was sick.
Okay. Pittsburgh, super rad. Love the stadium. Love that it was a packed house. But the reason it was a packed house, I think, in my opinion, is because everybody knew that the weather was going to be good. It was decent weather. Dude, these last couple that we've been to, they have been very low turnouts. And I don't know if it's low ticket sales or just low turnouts because the weather has been so bad. And that's a huge factor for us as Supercross racers is like, dude, if the fans are waiting for a weather report and to see if it's going to be even decent for their kids to come out to the race, so they're not going to wait to buy tickets, that's a tough situation to be in.
Yeah.
With an enclosed stadium, people can go on the weekend and enjoy a Supercross race in a nice climate and be chilling, and they're going to buy their tickets in advance.
We've seen why we keep on going back to Indianapolis and Minneapolis is because even the weather, if that weather is super shitty, or like Detroit, we always have a really good turnout because people are looking for things to do, and I think it's a lot easier to kind of plan for on those East Coast rounds in, February and April when the weather is unpredictable most of the months.
100%. And that's my thing too, is like, And on top of that, I disagree with you, bro. NASCAR, they have blow dryers that ride around the track if the track gets a little wet. They totally shut down the race. Okay? Like the dirt, you don't think just mixing up the dirt from state to state is enough? We have to throw in like a mud hole where Dirt Works has to work like 60 million hours overtime to haul the dirt in, cover the track. Everybody's getting muddy. I mean, dude, a guy went over the berm this weekend and his bike submerged in dirt and they got to pull it out with the tractor because they had to throw all the mud behind berms.
Well, I mean, I felt like the track turned out pretty good.
Dude, the track was phenomenal, but they also had to put in 20 million extra hours to get it like that.
Yeah, that is true.
We could just go inside of an enclosed stadium and then...
Well, bro, it's not as easy as that. If it was as easy as that, they would do that.
Well, don't shoot the messenger, but I don't even know if we're going back to any of those stadiums next year.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because the World Cup.
Oh.
The World Cup of soccer. I think next year we're going to get new, different stadiums that we're going to have to go to. Because
what?
Something with the World Cup of soccer is like coming to the United States and going to certain places. So I don't even know where we're going to be next year.
Got it. So it's going to be a whole shuffle.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking. That's that's the buzz. Is like there's going to be a big shuffle going around because like we went to Dallas and they're completely renovating all the suites, stadium, and we've been to 3 or 4 places that World Cup is going to or trying to go to that all these stadiums are just making everything like super pimp to get ready to try to get these World Cup events.
Well, those things are huge.
Yes, because they're so big.
Yeah. Money makers.
Yeah. Money, money, money. With that being said, though, moneymaker, I did hear that almost all the food stands in Pittsburgh sold out of food before the night was over. So it's like, if we do get good weather, we're making money.
Yeah. We have the fans that are coming out.
Which is all we can really ask for.
Right.
It's when you see East Rutherford, Foxborough, things like that, where the bad weather's at, and the whole upper deck is empty, and the middle deck is barely scattered with people.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
Very tough.
Really, really tough. All right. California Coast Plumbing, bro.
In the trenches.
In the trenches. Who do you got? I got somebody in mind, but...
Justin Barsha. I'm going to mix in a little bit of his Supercross season and, dude, where is this guy going to go? If TLD Rockstar or Rockstar Energy Gas is not going to be a thing next year, like where is he going to fit in?
Oh, no, dude. I really don't know. That's the hard part.
I really don't know. Like, I don't know if he's going to go like Ducati. I haven't heard anything. You haven't heard anything.
That would be the only thing that makes sense. But I'm saying if he does go Ducati, dude, he is going to be riding for like a quarter of what he normally rides for.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, with this injury that he just got, what did they say on the broadcast? ACL or something like that?
He has been messing around with his ACL.
Okay.
And then he re-aggravated it, and now he wants to get it right before outdoors. So
what's he gonna do to get it right before whatever?
I have no idea, but that was the report.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
But he didn't put the results in one round usually, like this whole entire Supercross season.
You know where he's going, dude?
What? HEP?
That's a Suzuki. If Anderson, I'm pretty sure Kenny's gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're talking, like, I know Anderson and is talking with possibly Suzuki, possibly Club, because I know Anderson rides at Club all the time in the offseason. So that's the options.
Mm-hmm.
There is a spot, obviously, at Suzuki to ride. So let's write it down. So we got a spot at Suzuki. There's nothing at Cowie, right?
Yeah, nothing.
Maybe Star Yamaha if Tomac doesn't sign there. No, I doubt it.
Yeah, because they're going to have Christian Craig,
You know
right?
what? You know what? Because we talked about the Eli Tomac KTM thing. Could that be a possibility? Like, Barsha for little, not much, but maybe riding that KTM next year?
No, because they have AP
Yep.
and RJ Hampshire
Yep.
probably locked in
RJ's locked in.
for Husky.
Yes. Yep.
But I would say KTM needs
you know what
guy.
I was thinking about this last week, Ty, and I wanted to bring it up.
Mm.
Is like, you remember how I talked about the riders having a clause if they win the championship, they kind of have to stick around or there's something.
Yeah.
What about Chase? You don't think Chase has signed a clause if he wins the Supercross or outdoor championship that KTM gets first right to refusal?
Yeah, do you
I'll
think
bet you that's in there, and that's why the Cowie deal isn't set in stone.
I know, but do you think that clause, I was thinking about that too, do you think that clause is just for Supercross or any championship throughout the year? So he could it's like for a Supercross championship, an outdoor championship, or SMX championship. So that means he doesn't know if that deal's done all the way until September.
If I'm KTM, that's what I'm doing.
I mean, that's what I would have put in there for sure.
And maybe that's why we're hearing rumors of him signing a letter of intent to Kawasaki through like Instagram and YouTube. I've heard that a few times that he signed a letter of intent, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he signed that because he's saying that Kawasaki might get the first option if he can even do anything. Because if he wins the championship, there might be a clause in his thing that says he can't even do anything.
Yeah, and
that's why we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, and that could be for a Supercross championship, outdoor championship, or SMX championship.
So that means we're not going to find. We're hearing all this stuff about all this going on, but
nothing could be official until the last round of the SMX season.
That's what I mean. All that could just be like, hey, if nothing happens, then I'll talk to you first. That's all that letter of intent could be.
And if that's the case, then what if Chase wins a championship? Then he has to go to KTM, and now Kawasaki's looking for a guy in September.
There you go.
Hectic.
I mean, the bottom line is it all revolves around Chase and his decision as of right now.
Yes.
But with Barcia, going back to Barcia because we got sidetracked.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Suzuki. He's got Ducati. He's got a possible Triumph. But I heard the Triumph thing, they're really trying to just stay small and go Jordan Smith 450 and like do something really small first year.
Yeah, just to make
like
sure they're
low
good.
Key.
Yeah.
Low key. So they're not even really
maybe
trying.
Probably like a half a coast or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. They're not even trying to like overstep their boundaries, which I think is super smart by them.
Yeah, because you don't want to spread yourself thin when you're still starting to develop a 250 and 450.
I mean, I think we talked about this last week now that I'm thinking about it, but I think Barcia probably ends up on quad lock.
Honda.
Or something like that.
Where he's doing like a half Australian
quad
Supercross.
Lock or Ferrandis' team.
Oh, Phoenix Racing
Racing Honda.
You think they're going to have enough fundage for two?
Probably not. They're probably sticking with Ferrandis.
Yeah. I would stick for Ferrandis.
I would too.
I mean, dude, he was riding really good this last weekend.
So good. So good. He had a little mishap, but he was like, wasn't he passing AP and passing like some really good dudes?
Bro, he fucking gripped it and ripped it through the whoop sections a couple times. And I was like, oh, goddamn.
Come on. Let's talk about Maya in the trenches. RJ.
Bro, that boy's wrist looked like it's hurting him.
That's what I mean, dude. And it's like, if his wrist wasn't hurting, check off championship number 2.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Or a really good shot at it.
Yeah.
Going in, because like, dude, with all his veteran skill going into that showdown, you got to think he's going to be the most calm.
100%.
He would have been the most calm. Like in that high pressure situation of having the showdown, my money would have been on RJ to somehow figure out how to get it done.
Yes.
Seth Hamaker's in a really tough spot. He's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. He's super, super fast. He's, finally breaking in, young, still got a lot of lights series to go. You know, not a big deal if he loses this. A lot of pressure. He's going to learn from this.
Yeah.
If he gets it, it'll be friggin' awesome. If he doesn't, it's not the end of the world because he's got multi-years to go.
Yeah.
You know, Tom Bial, till now, hasn't really looked like a contender until this weekend. So now Tom Bial's in it. Who are you picking to win that East Coast Lights Championship with RJ's wrist the way it is? Do you think RJ can even still pull it out?
No. I think Seth Hammaker, this is his championship to lose.
Yeah.
He's the best rider on the East Coast by far.
I agree with it, bro. I just can't believe how bad he did off that start. I can't even. It was like worse.
I think
it was worse than me in the 450 main, bro.
But what he said is he spun on the grate. So, I mean, if he can just be calm and...
Yeah, but he spun and then misshifted. I watched him. I literally
I don't
looked
care
at him.
what your analysis said. This is what he said. He said he spun completely off the gate and he was just back. And when you're back in that pile, anything can fucking happen.
Yeah, ain't shit you can do.
Nothing.
No. Too many guys going too many directions.
Yep.
It's like going to a four-way stop with no stop.
Yes, exactly. And you're trying to figure out who's going first.
With no law of right of way.
No. And then there's jumps.
Because everybody's trying to get through first.
Yes.
Damn it, RJ. Damn it. Like, why is this all... I mean, I know why it always happens to RJ, because the way he rides and the way he just hangs it out and pins it.
I know. I feel like this wrist injury has been very lurking.
It has, but dude, I don't know. I don't want to keep going on this.
No, you can't. We've already... There's nothing much you can do. I don't even think he does outdoors, does he?
No.
Yeah.
No, he said he wasn't. I don't think so. He said after the Supercross season, we're gonna evaluate and see what we have to do from there.
Basically,
So-
that means he's gonna go in
Yeah.
underneath the knife again.
Which
fix
means
whatever's
no
got-
450.
Yeah.
So that means probably do a few at the end and then try to do SMX.
Yeah, but how do you even do SMX when went to the 450?
You
So
don't
does
think
that- so
you
that-
don't think he can get enough points, getting like a couple tenths to make it in? Probably not, honestly. It'd be tough still.
It'd be tough still. So that means why didn't he just stay on the 250 and go SMX 250?
It's probably what he's gonna do and try to win the 250 SMX
That would be the smart play, right?
in this situation.
Because if he can't,
I mean, unless he just what he should
he needs
do.
to get in top 20 in points.
Yeah, but what he should do then is just make sure he's in the 250, which he should be.
He is already in because he won a race.
Oh, okay. Then just ride 450 outdoor and then race the 250 SMX.
If he doesn't make the top 20 in points.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what he's going to do.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, hopefully
Right?
there's not some like seeding bullshit that they pull. It'd be pretty nice. It'd be pretty funny to see him in like a SMX 450 LCQ every round.
That'd be gnarly.
That's what you would have to do if you race 450.
That'd be. That's what those LCQs are like though. Colt Nichols had to do that last year.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Brutal. All right, let's finish out the show. Xbrand. Does the zebra keep his stripes? Who you got?
Fuck, there's so many ways. You know what? I'm going to switch it up because we haven't talked to him about him all show, and I felt like we need to shine some light on him. Max Vohland. This boy has been...
Oh, good pick.
This guy has been climbing the steepest mountain you've ever seen to get back to the skill level that we all know he could be at coming out of amateurs. And he finally got his first podium this last weekend on the Club MX Muck-Off Racing Yamaha.
Yep.
With a handbrake.
Yep.
And I just hope these are new stripes he's painting on his career, on himself, and they stick around for a long time because this boy could go all the way if he just stays on that healthy train and just keeps on gaining confidence. Because I've seen this kid ride since he was 11 or 12 years old on an 85, And I already knew that he was going to be a professional, but it's been a rough road up until this point. And I'm so thankful and just happy for him to finally like pay off to see him on that podium, last night.
Yeah, pretty phenomenal, dude. I mean, ever since I seen him on the Super Mini at Monster Cup, I was like, damn, this kid has got it.
Yeah.
And I talked to him after the race. If you guys haven't seen it, go to the post-race interviews from Pittsburgh. I interviewed Max, and he was talking about how he signed with Muck-Off Yamaha. He was in California, and he didn't even know if he was gonna have to call the team and say, hey, bro, I can't do it with my foot. This handbrake ain't working, da-da-da-da-da. He said one day before they came up with something where Max was like, oh my gosh, at Kahia, I think I can pull this off.
Yeah.
Muck-Off, he didn't even tell Muck-Off that they were manufacturing this handbrake thing. They thought he was just using a foot brake.
Oh, shit.
And one day before boot camp that he had to go to, they got it kind of figured out enough to be able to pull it off.
Gnarly.
That's where he was at before this season.
That's so
Think
gnarly.
about that.
Yeah.
And then he goes and gets a podium.
This year.
And not only does he get a podium, but dude,
he was ripping. He should have beat RJ with a little bit more fitness, I felt like.
Yes. And that's just going to come with confidence too.
Yeah.
Like, dude, when I saw him in that heat race sending, there was a couple times, dude, and there's not very many guys who can do this. There is not. He sent it into the whoops with absolutely no caution, dropped the front end like 2 or 3 times, but
and then
did the right thing and made it all work.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you are 15th or back and did what Max did, full cartwheel, broken collarbone, broken freaking leg.
He does kind of remind me of a little younger, like Travis Pastrana, like how lanky he is.
Dude.
If he could like gain some confidence in just his body type through the whoops, bro, he could send it and pull some gnarly shit off.
Dude, very Travis Pastrana-esque.
Yeah.
Like, no question. What was the most impressive thing that you've seen from Max this weekend?
I saw him, well, speaking of the whoop section, I saw him one time where he mistimed the whoop section. He just tire tapped and then I felt like his corner speed blows me away with the handbrake.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple areas where like in the 90s where it looks a little notchy, but I feel like with more time, that's going to get ironed out.
Dude, I think the handbrake thing's an advantage if you can get it right.
I know, but it's just so gnarly. It's on his clutch hand, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So clutch, brake.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to move. Right?
No, I thought he does it like this.
No.
Yeah, he does like a couple fingers like this. He does like this. I swear to God.
That's gnarly.
I don't know. Do you think he goes brake, clutch? No.
That's what I would think. But I guess if you had your fingers where you can undulate your fingers differently, which is pretty gnarly. You have to move these and these at different. That's like doing this.
Yeah, but
with one hand.
After a while, you get used to it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Not having to move your foot is a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
For sure. Yes. Absolutely.
Never having to move your foot onto the brake, ever.
I know, but the downside to that is like, if you don't do it, if you don't move your fingers independently, then how do you brake slide? Because you need to pull the clutch and pull the brake in at the same time to brake slide and go.
Oh, that's true.
So if you aren't using those cohesive or like together, you ain't doing that. Yeah.
In unison.
You're not doing that.
Yeah, you're definitely not doing that. Maybe you got to learn how to ride with no brake slide.
Then now you're just clutching to light up that rear wheel.
Yeah. Bro, that is gnarly.
Yeah, whatever. He's figured it out on how to ride with that thing, but gnarly.
Yeah. I think the most impressive thing from Max was just to see his capable sprint speed when he got open track.
Yes.
Like, I was really impressed. I was like, dude, what? Max is like going fast.
Like ripping.
Yeah, not like fifth place fast, like fastest guy on the track.
Yeah, and he's been getting good qualifying times too the last like few rounds.
Yeah, I think he qualified third,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's the show. You got anything else, Ty?
No, I'm excited for Denver and Salt Lake City.
I'm excited too.
I'm actually. What's weird is I'm excited for outdoors to start
I know.
and get everybody on the gate again.
I know. I was talking about that with somebody else. It's going to be really tough for Chase and Coop to beat a fresh Eli and Jet at the end of the season. I think Coop and Chase will be faster at the beginning, but I think because those guys got that time off, they're going to be better at the end of the outdoor championship.
Yeah,
And
I look at that complete opposite. Because you got to think like the mindset for Chase and Cooper right now is not outdoor testing.
No.
They are still.
But dude, think about this. When did you do the best outdoors? When you had a good Supercross season. You know, if you're coming off an injury, and obviously those guys are at a different level, but when you race Supercross and you're constantly racing, you get excited for something new. So it's like that excitement again, where those guys are kind of like, oh, am I 100% yet? How's my bike? You know, they're not riding their bikes right now at 100%. No way.
Yeah, but they've been testing on their bikes, you know, and just riding outdoor.
Yeah, but Chase and Cooper have been racing, and there's nothing better than racing. And even if their bike isn't perfect,
I'll take an over-under bet with you on Paula.
I mean, you can't bet against Jet at Paula.
You say
okay, who wins Paula?
Jet.
Damn. I mean, I think Jet wins Paula too. That's the messed up part. He's so good at Paula, and he's got that new 25 Honda.
You were just talking up fucking Chase and Cooper.
I just think the first half of the season.
Where do you think Hunter's going to be?
Not even close.
You don't think Hunter close? No. You don't think he's going to beat Cooper Webb?
No. I think because of...
You don't think Hunter is going to beat Cooper Webb?
No. And this is my reasoning. I think the first half of the season, Hunter was struggling with Supercross, and I think his confidence... He's a confidence guy. He'll beat Cooper Webb by mid-season. I just don't think that his confidence is 100% there yet to get the job done at the beginning.
We'll see.
Where I don't think Jet gives a shit.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's like a honey badger. He's like Cooper Webb, dude. He could get beat by 20 seconds one week and come back the next week and be like, I'll still smoke you, dog.
Yeah, I feel like Jet's mentality, even if he's not like 100%, he'd be like, oh, I'm going to just go lead and see how I do. And then wherever I finish, I finish.
Yes.
Hunter's like, I'm not ready to lead yet, so I'm not going to lead.
Exactly. And 1,000%. You know, like the Justin Bogle a little bit. Like he knows he's not in the best shape. He knows he's not freaking perfect, but Bogle's going to try to get the whole shot no matter what.
Yeah.
Where like most guys, like if I was out of shape, the last thing I want to be is out front. Oh, I love it. Cool. All right. Well, that's the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. A little short and sweet. Feel like not much happened this week.
No.
Kind of a tough week.
We're getting close
I
to
felt the
final
blow,
two.
dude. I felt the blow. When Cooper Webb crossed the finish line and he rocked the little baby to sleep, I was like, that's kind of the whole championship.
You're like, hey, this like the Steph Curry night.
Yeah, that was metaphorical for like, good night championship. There it goes. And everybody felt it too. I think everybody at the press conference. It's still not
over with though. Like
it's not, but it feels like it. Doesn't it?
It definitely feels like it. But Cooper Webb, if he doesn't get any, like if Chase wins and Cooper Webb gets anything but second, it's going to be tight going in the last round.
It will.
That's going to be a lot of pressure on Cooper Webb.
It's just, I I feel like the last guy you would want to be in first this late in the season's Cooper Webb.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I would way rather have Jet in front of me by 12 points than Cooper Webb at the end of the season. I feel like I could pressure Jet into a mistake if I got on his tail. You know what I mean? Like, who's more crackable, Jet at the end of the season or Cooper Webb?
Yeah, probably
in
Jet.
Supercross.
Probably Jet.
Well, that's the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. We appreciate it so much. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your pops about Track Talkers. Thank you guys again for talking to me at the races, saying that you guys watch the podcast. I love that so much. That hypes both of us up. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Yes. We love it.
It makes us want to keep doing it. And don't forget, if you're still watching, go to our most recent post on Instagram, tag 3 friends, type in there, dang, my bike needs some graphics, tag SKDA. And next week, we're going to announce the winner of a free set of graphics at SKDA.
Ooh, let's go, baby.
Heck yeah. You love us. We love you. Track Talkers. Peace.